Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at array indexing, more specifically just accessing single elements. Um, and yeah, it's very similar to, let me actually show you in the book here. So it's still part of the basics of the NumPy array section. So if we look at the context, it's going to be right over here, the second portion of the introduction to NumPy section in the book, Python Data Science Handbook, Big Iguana. But anyway, click onto that. We already talked about the NumPy array attributes. So in this video specifically, I'm just going to look at this stuff right here. And yeah, I'm going to use the examples from the book again. And so I imported NumPy as NP already. And then I got the three variables here, x1, x2, and x3. So we got the one-dimensional array on x1, two-dimensional on x2, and three-dimensional on the x3. And then we set the seed there so that we get the same values every time we run this piece of code here. But anyway, looking at first starting with like 1D arrays and how to access values from there. But really all you gotta do is like to access a certain value. But let's look at it actually. So to access like the 0 here, all you had to do is specify the desired index in square brackets, just like in Python list. So remember, you start with 0 when you're indexing. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want that 0, it's going to be index 1. So you just literally put that, and you get that 0 there. So if you want like, I don't know, if you want the 7 here, we'll do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be 4 there. And there you go. So it's pretty simple stuff. And then you got negative indexing 2. So basically same thing, except you're going to count backwards from -1. So -1 would be the 9 here. -2 would be the 7, so on and so forth. So for example, x1, and if we want that 9 at the end there, over here, we're just going to, since it's the last one, and we start with -1 at the end, we're going to put the -1 in there. We should get that. And there you go, you get the 9. So if you want the 0 here, going negative index, you can do -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And there you go. So pretty simple stuff there. But yeah, looking at multi-dimensional arrays, you're going to use comma separated tuple of indices to get a certain value or index from the array. So for example, looking at x2, let's say we want, I don't know, this 6 here, which you actually just do the 7. So what we would do is x2, then you're still going to have the square brackets, except you're going to separate them by a comma this time. So we're going to need two different numbers in here. So remember, the first parameter is always going to be, in a two-dimensional array at least, the rows here. And then the second one is going to be the columns. So if we want this 7 here, then we're at index, we're going to start with, so 1, 2, 3. We want the second row here. So we'll start with 2. And then remember, it says comma separated. So we're going to add a comma there. And then if we want this 7 right here, so it's the first column. So it's a 0. Oh, shit. Oh, duh. This is a 1 out of 2, my bad. So 0, 1, 2. But if we wanted like let's go with this 4 right here at the end. So this is the first row. So we're gonna start with, let me delete this, 0 first, since we want the 4 which is in the 0 row, and then add a comma after it because it's comma separated, and then it's the last column of the first row. So we could either do 0, 1, 2, 3. So we'll do that. And I think we could even do like -1. Yeah. So it should work again. You could do negative indexing there. So -1, -2, -3, -4. Yeah, so pretty simple stuff. So looking at three-dimensional array this time, let's try that. So we got that. And then, so this one's a little bit different. We got a three-dimensional array. So we're going to have 3 different numbers to specify a certain value here. So we're going to start with the first numbers. Either going to be, in this case, a 0, which would represent this first set of array. The 1 would be this, and then 2 on this. So let's say we want this. Let's say we want this 3 right here. We're going to put 0, 1 first, since we want to get the number from that index variable 1 array or whatever. Then once we're in here, we want that 3 again, right? So we're gonna go 0, 1, 2, 3. There's 3 different indexes you could choose for the row, and since we want that 3, it's gonna be at the 0, 1 again. So row 1, index row 1, and then column wise it's 0, 1, 2. So it's gonna be the 2 on the last parameter there. And there you go. So again, you're gonna specify the x3 there. So that's what we're looking at. It's a 3-dimensional array. So instead of like for a 1-dimensional array, we only have 1 parameter here to put in the brackets. 2-dimensional, we have 2 different ones. And in this case, with the 3-dimensional, we have to look at 3 different sides here. So again, that first one here represents this whole thing here. This second one here represents this row here, and then 2 will be 0, 1, 2. This column here, oh, can't really show you, but yeah, the 9, 3, 0, 8 column here is that 2. So for example, let's try getting this 6 here, for example. So we want 0, 1, 2 on that first parameter there, separated by a comma there. Oops. What the hell happened? Oh. So we got we want that 6 again, right? So 0, 1, 2, that first number. And then we want the 1, 2, 3, 4th column, but it starts at 0, so it's gonna be 0, 1, 2. The 4th column is actually gonna be represented by the 3, index 3, or the 4th row, sorry. And then we need the 0, 1, 2, 3rd column as well. And there you go, you get the 6. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. You just literally specify where exactly in this whole array you want to, like which value you want in this whole thing. Again, the first number is just which set of values you want to go in. Once you know where you're going to be in, it's going to be like a regular 2D, specifying the row first, column second. So starting with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah. You can even modify values. So let's say, I don't know, let's look at x1 again. And then let's put this. So x1, let's say we want to change this, let's change this 3 actually to a 5. So you're just going to specify which value you want to change first. So which index you want to change. In this case, we want to change this first 3. So it's going to be the 0, 1, 2. So the second index there. Set an equal sign. And then which value you want it to be. So let's put a 6. And then if we call x1, we see that this 3 here got changed to a 6. It's really simple stuff. You literally just like specify what you want the certain index to equal out to. And yeah, you just got to remember that NumPy has a fixed type as well. So let's say, I don't know, let's put 3.14 in, I don't know, 2. Oops. Wrong way. So we got that. Call it again. So we changed the 0, 1, 2 back to, so the 6 back to a 3. Actually, we changed it to 3.14, but since it has a fixed type, it's going to change this float number to an integer automatically, because that's what the rest of the values were here. So 3.14 was the only float number in this whole set of array. So instead of switching all these numbers to floats, they're all gonna the 3.14 will just get switched to an integer to like satisfy the array. So that they all have to have the same data type. And yeah, that's really it for this section. Thank you.